Wait. At, let's see, approximately 5:07, I was backstage rewriting this opening, telling to myself that when I find the perfect first line, and then I walk out. It's now 5:08. The stage manager said, I'm on. So I walked. This step is a whole talk. Hello everybody, my name is Timmy Font. I'm really nervous, but it's really good to meet you. And today, this is about choosing Zen over when. We use when for everything. When exams end, when my life calms down, when I'm feeling ready. It sounds responsible and it feels smart, but too often, when, it becomes a waiting room with no exit. So here's how when traps us in real life. First, W, wasting. We spend 10 minutes arguing about a 5-minute task. How to do it, which order, whose way is the best. When we could have already took the first step. Talking feels like progress, but talk doesn't finish the work. Second, H, hesitating. We tell ourselves that we'll begin when we feel ready, when the plan is somehow suddenly perfect, and when the door is magically wide open. But the door, it's half open now, we just don't step through. Opportunities have time limits. Hesitation quietly disperses them. Third, E, escaping. We try to go around what must be done, checking one more notification, polishing the playlist, reorganizing the desk instead of starting the work. Avoidance, it lowers stress now, but it raises it later with interest. But that interest might come too late. So, what breaks the loop? The N in when. Next step, now. Every time you hear yourself say when, add the Zen, and one concrete action you can do in the next 60 seconds. Not the whole project, but the first swing of the shovel. Okay, now a story. A community promised to plant, let's say, 500 trees in a park in 60 days. Day 1 to 3 dissolve into arguments and meetings about, let's say, the perfect order, the perfect tools, the perfect map, loads and loads and loads of words, but not a single hole in the ground. Day 4 to 6 dissolved into hesitation. The soil, it felt hard, and it started feeling harder. What's the result? Not a single hole in the ground. Day 7, some people tried to bow out. Maybe 500 isn't realistic, they said. What's the result? Not a single hole in the ground. That night, the leader said nothing. He picked up the shovel and planted the first tree. No speech, no new plan, just the next step now. Now, because the team had lost a week, the daily target jumped from 8 trees per person to 10. Yet, they still arrived at the last evening, tired, exhausted, bleeding from cuts and wounds, but still on time. Now, this story isn't to tell you that hesitation is harmless, nor is it to tell you that gardening communities are argumentative. It is to tell you that it was that one single person's action, allow me to repeat that one single person's action that managed to turn when into Zen. But the price of delay was sweat. So, let's say if you want something a bit more practical than the story, here are 3 tiny habits that can keep them alive. First, cap the talk. Give planning a timer. 3 minutes to decide, 30 seconds to begin. If you still can't agree, flip a coin on the order and start. Results will teach you much faster than debate. Second, shrink the start. Make the first step too small to refuse. Open the document, write 3 lines, turn on your cell phone, send the first sentence of the email. Momentum does the rest. Third, little bias for now. Each time, and allow me to repeat that again, each time you hear yourself say when, add Zen. And like I said before, one verb that you can use and succeed in fulfilling, as long as it's good for your own good, of course, in the next 60 seconds. Do it before your brain talks you out of it. For an example, when I go running, Then I put on my shoes, then I lace my shoes, then I open the door, then I get into the elevator, then I go to the gym, then I get on the running machine, then I start running instead of going to some place and buying drinks and cokes and chilling out. Yes. Okay, maybe not like my idea of when, but I hope you still get the idea. All right, now for my favorite part. Since I just talked a lot, I need a rest, and I would really, really like it if anybody here likes to ask a question. Come on. Does anybody want to ask a question? No, seriously, can't anybody here please just ask? Oh, yes, there. Can anybody take a microphone there, please? Can anybody take a microphone? Quiet down. Can we use a mic, please? Yes.
Quiet.
Yes, young man.
Wait. Well, first about the big part. So you know about TEDx, right? I'm not being shambolic in motivation. Just asking a question, right? So there are a lot of things people say about TEDx: cooperation, compromisation, corroboration, negotiation, compromisation. So there are a lot of words to describe and emphasize about TEDx. So what do you think about it? It's the first question. And the second is...
Whoa. Stop. I only have one mouse at a time, okay?
All right.
Answer your first question first, one at a time, please. I only have one mouse. Is that okay?
All right, I won't trouble you then. Just answer the first question like a good boy.
Okay, so your first question, you asked me about what I feel about TED. Is that right? Okay, so I think TED, like I said in my diagram of the speech, I think that it is a really, really exciting and good idea, that it's a really good community that puts people on stage to talk about ideas and to make it even more challenging for no reason at all. They gave us a subject and made us use this subject to a certain degree. So I think that TED, it makes us inquisitive, it makes us smarter, and makes us brave to stand here in front of a stage in like loads and loads of people. So yeah, that's what I think about TED. Now your second question. Well, I thought you said you had a second question. Okay, the mic's not coming, you have to shout. Can everybody be quiet, please? Shout. Great job. That's exactly the kind of question I wanted to learn. So, allow me to correct you on one of the mistakes. Not paragraph into a sentence, it's paraphrasing into a sentence. Okay, so what I want into the sentence is really easy. Let me think. Okay, when, like I said before, is a very inquisitive way to help us think about social problems. It can help us get rid of loads and loads of problems. And when I say loads, I mean a lot. Because when doesn't have to mean 什么时候,什么事情. It can also mean WHEN as standing for something. Is that okay for you? Okay, so here are some more questions that you might have asked me if more of you were paying attention. So first, isn't this just glorified rushing? That is one of the questions that I really hope I could hear, but maybe not. So the answer to this is no. Starting now doesn't mean finishing now. It means trading perfect timing for first foothold. It means that you stop letting mood decide whether you move, and it saves you from the endless trap of soft readiness. Another question that you might have asked me is this: what about mistakes? Good. You can't steer a parked car now, can you? Starting now doesn't mean finishing now. It means that you... Oh, sorry, I got that wrong, did I? Starting rough isn't actually so bad, because it basically... You can't steer a parked car, so once you're rolling, you can adjust the plan, tune the route, improve the draft. Now, this is something I really want you guys to remember. This is really important. Action plants a seed, but consistency grows a tree. Now, there is one more reason, which is, I'm afraid, the most important, that you need to know about Zen and Wen. It changes how you see in yourself. So when you act, even in a tiny, tiny way, you stop feeling like time's employee, and start feeling like time's partner. Now, you're not waiting for the perfect hour to arrive. You're shaping the hour, moment, second, minute, millisecond, everything, whatever it is that you already had. And allow me to say that you're shaping this for real perfectness. Allow me to repeat that. Real perfectness for yourself. Now, your life won't suddenly become easy, but it will become yours. You'll arrive at more last evenings, proud, not panicked. And allow me to put in a 7-day challenge that can help you with everything. A 7-day challenge. It's right here. So, this is my challenge. For the next 7 days, each time you hear yourself say when, add the zen. And like I said before 2 times, but I'm just going to paraphrase now to make it sound a bit cooler, add a verb or action you can do immediately, or to be a bit more specific, in the next 60 seconds. Do it before your brain talks you out of it. That's so simple, right? Okay, so like I said, with all the time that you can save by using my diagram of when, you'll have enough time to perhaps arrive at last evenings, proud, not panicked. And like I said before, with all the time you save, you can finally discuss and maybe even solve the important question. Who's the better action hero, Tom Cruise or Jackie Chan? Yeah, I've been overthinking that one for years. Thank you, everybody.